What if I told you that the distance between ordinary and extraordinary isn't talent, luck, or even opportunity? It's a quiet force that lives inside every one of us, waiting to be unleashed. That hidden spark is discipline. It's the unseen engine behind every victory, every breakthrough, every legend you've ever admired. Think of the architects of innovation, the titans of history, the champions of art. Their secret wasn't a mystical gift, but a relentless, unyielding discipline that carried them when the applause faded and the nights grew long. Imagine standing where you are today, looking up at the towering peaks of your dreams. The climb seems steep, the air thin, the summit distant. But here's the truth. Every step forward, every small, consistent action is the very thing that builds the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You don't need perfect conditions, endless motivation, or even flawless plans. You need the determination to move forward, especially when inspiration runs dry. Because discipline is not about waiting for the right mood or the perfect timing. It's about deciding, today, that no matter the weather of your emotions, the path will be walked. And when you master this force, truly master it, everything becomes possible. You awaken to a life where potential is no longer theory but reality, where dreams are no longer hopes but destinations. Let me take you back to the roots of every remarkable story. Not to the beginning, but to the moments when everything could have fallen apart, and yet didn't. Take the journey of Marie Curie, a woman who faced not just the skepticism of a male-dominated scientific world, but the crushing hardship of limited resources and personal loss. Where others might have surrendered, she pressed on, not because it was easy, but because her discipline to uncover truth burned brighter than any obstacle in her way. She wasn't guided by fleeting motivation. It was her discipline that led her into her laboratory day after day, her mind focused, her hands steady, until she illuminated the world with discoveries that changed humanity forever. Discipline transforms the impossible into the inevitable. It's what keeps the painter at the canvas when the vision is still blurry. It's what keeps the entrepreneur at the desk when the venture is still just a fragile idea. It's what wakes the athlete before dawn, chasing excellence one repetition at a time. Yet discipline is not a shackle, it is liberation. It's the power to choose your direction with clarity, even when the path is steep. Without it, talent sits idle, potential gathers dust, and dreams remain distant stars. But with it, you gain the ability to shape destiny with your own hands. So ask yourself, what heights could you reach if you trained your mind to stand firm when the winds of doubt howl? What could you build if your habits stood guard against every distraction? How far could you go if each day became a deliberate step forward, no matter how small? Start now, not by waiting for motivation, but by choosing your discipline. Visualize your aspirations. See them not as wishful thinking, but as the blueprint of your purpose. Then align your actions, your thoughts, your very routine to that vision. Begin with the smallest commitments. Wake up earlier, read one more page, practice one more time. The power is not in the scale of the effort, but in the consistency of your resolve. When discipline meets belief, mountains move. And if you're wondering how to cultivate this power, it begins within, by deciding who you want to become and what legacy you want to leave. Surround yourself with those who walk with purpose, who reflect the standard you aspire to. Let their discipline strengthen yours, until your own example becomes a beacon for others. Discipline is not given. It is forged in the stillness of the early morning, in the quiet resistance to procrastination, in the decision to rise again after each fall. Master discipline, and you'll discover that greatness was never about luck. It was always about the will to keep going. Let's rewind. Before the medals, before the history books, before the world takes notice, what lies at the start of every story of greatness? It's a decision, a quiet, resolute decision that says, I will persist. Long before the victory is visible to the world, it's a whisper within the soul, and that whisper is called discipline. Think about Leonardo da Vinci. His brilliance wasn't merely the product of a gifted mind. It was born from an insatiable curiosity, coupled with disciplined study that spanned anatomy, engineering, and art. Day after day, he explored, sketched, questioned, and experimented. His genius wasn't a moment of lightning-struck inspiration. It was forged through a lifetime of structured dedication. The same principle applies to every domain of human achievement, whether it's innovation, leadership, or creativity. Discipline is the common thread that ties it all together. But here's where the real power of discipline shines. It thrives where motivation dies. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes, like a visitor who knocks when the sun is shining, but disappears when the clouds gather. Discipline is the steadfast companion who stays, rain or shine. And it grows stronger when paired with clarity. Clarity about where you're going, what you stand for, and what you're willing to endure to get there. Without a clear vision, discipline falters. But when your mind is focused, discipline becomes the compass that keeps you on course, even when the terrain gets rough. Imagine a ship sailing through a storm. Without a destination, every wave feels like defeat. But when the destination is clear, every wave is simply part of the journey. That's why I ask you now, what is your North Star? What is the vision that burns so brightly within you that no setback can snuff it out? Define it, vividly, with detail so sharp that you can almost touch it. Then let discipline take the wheel, guiding every action, every habit, every decision toward that vision. Because here's the truth, you will face obstacles. Doubt will whisper, fear will knock, the path will twist. But if you've trained your mind in discipline, you won't stray. You'll adapt. You'll adjust your sails, but never your destination. Think of the lives of those who reshaped history. Malala Yousafzai, faced with adversity, threats, and violence, her disciplined commitment to education didn't waver. She rose each time, fortified by a purpose larger than herself. Discipline made her unstoppable. Or think of Elon Musk, mocked, doubted, ridiculed. Yet through relentless, methodical work, he has reshaped industries. Not because he never failed, but because he never quit. That's the alchemy of discipline. It turns setbacks into strategy, failures into fuel, and dreams into blueprints. Yet discipline doesn't demand grand gestures. It asks for your presence. Today, now, in this very moment, it invites you to show up, to do the work, to keep promises to yourself, even when no one's watching. Each promise kept is a brick laid in the foundation of your confidence. Each action, however small, is a declaration. I am building the life I've envisioned. So what routines can you create today that align with your purpose? What habits can you commit to that reflect the person you intend to become? Discipline isn't about restriction. It's about empowerment. It's the structure that lets you reach higher, push further, and stand taller. Remember, the difference between who you are and who you could be is the discipline you practice daily. Every step forward compounds. Every day you act with discipline, you're not just moving toward your goal. You're becoming the person capable of living that goal. Stay the course. Build the habit. Trust the process. Because discipline, when practiced consistently, guarantees that success is no longer a matter of if, but when. Let's flip the script. What if I told you that failure isn't your enemy, it's your finest instructor? Because those who achieve the extraordinary aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who rise again and again, guided by discipline. Discipline is the lens that transforms every stumble into a stepping stone. Consider J.K. Rowling. Before the world knew her name, she faced rejection after rejection. Manuscripts returned. Doors closed. Yet, She didn't surrender her vision. She wrote, rewrote, persisted, not because success was guaranteed, but because her discipline wouldn't let her quit. This is resilience in its purest form, the unshakable discipline to keep moving forward, especially when the world says stop. Adversity is inevitable. Life will test your resolve, your patience, your grit. But discipline is what allows you to meet every challenge not with fear, but with curiosity. What can I learn from this? How will this shape me? When you ask the right questions, even your hardest trials become teachers. Remember, it's not the storm that defines you, but the strength you cultivate within it. Discipline conditions your mind to see every obstacle as an opportunity in disguise. A disciplined mind doesn't ask, why me? It asks, what's next? And this isn't just philosophy, it's strategy. Every successful individual you admire has built their empire on a mountain of lessons learned from setbacks. Think of Oprah Winfrey, fired from her first television job, told she wasn't fit for TV. What followed was not a retreat, but a reinvention. Discipline led her to transform rejection into redirection, ultimately creating a media empire that inspired millions. This is the art of mental resilience, and discipline is the chisel. But here's the nuance. Discipline doesn't just help you endure hardship, it prepares you for it. It's the daily training, the quiet repetition, the habits you build when things are stable that make you unshakable when things get turbulent. Picture a tree. In calm weather, it seems still, its strength unnoticed. But when the storm comes, the depth of its roots is revealed. Discipline is your root system. Deep, anchored, unmoving. So, how do you build this? First, through routine. Establish rituals that ground you. Morning reflections, physical training, daily learning. Each is a small rehearsal for life's bigger battles. Second, through perspective. Cultivate gratitude. Remind yourself not just of what went wrong, but of the strength you gained by facing it. Third, through community. Surround yourself with those who reflect the discipline you seek. Their presence will elevate your standards, just as your growth will inspire theirs. Because discipline is contagious. It thrives in an environment where commitment is the norm. And never forget, your future self is shaped not by the easy days, but by how you navigate the difficult ones. When you approach life with disciplined resilience, setbacks become setups for your next success. So next time life pushes you back, don't resist the lesson. Embrace it. Let discipline guide your steps forward. Because every time you rise, you're not just proving something to the world. You're proving something to yourself. You are unstoppable, not because life is easy, but because you are disciplined enough to rise every time. Now, let's talk about clarity, the silent partner of discipline. Without it, your efforts scatter like seeds in the wind. With it, every action aligns, every step compounds. You see, discipline without direction is like running in circles, exhausting but aimless. But when you pair discipline with crystal clear goals, you're no longer just moving, you're advancing. Look at the legacy of Steve Jobs. He didn't just work hard, he worked with precision. Every product, every innovation, every bold decision at Apple was guided by an unshakable vision. His discipline wasn't random, it was targeted, honed by clarity about what he wanted to create and how it would change the world. That's the key. Clarity transforms discipline from mere effort into purposeful progress. So ask yourself, do you know where you're headed? Can you articulate the life you're building? Your vision must be vivid, not vague ambitions, but specific outcomes, felt deeply, seen clearly. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Visualize it every morning. This isn't just dreaming, it's mapping your destiny. Once your vision is clear, discipline becomes your daily compass. Every choice is filtered through the question, does this bring me closer to my goal? That's how champions operate. Simone Biles didn't become the most decorated gymnast by accident. She trained with unwavering focus, each practice designed with her end goal in mind. Discipline was her vehicle, but clarity was her roadmap. And here's a secret most overlook. Clarity doesn't just guide your actions. It fuels your motivation. When you see where you're going, every effort feels meaningful, every sacrifice worthwhile. You'll no longer wake up asking, "Why bother?" Instead, you'll rise knowing exactly why today matters. But clarity must be cultivated. It requires reflection, time alone with your thoughts, honest answers to difficult questions. What do I truly desire? What impact do I want to leave? What legacy am I writing with my choices today? This self-inquiry isn't a one-time event. It's a discipline of its own, a practice of keeping your vision sharp and your focus unshakable. And once your vision is set, build routines around it. Design your mornings, your work hours, your evenings to serve that vision. Let your schedule reflect your priorities, because where your time goes, your life follows. Discipline plus clarity creates alignment, a powerful, unstoppable momentum that propels you forward even when challenges arise. And when distractions come, as they always will, your clarity acts like a shield. It reminds you of what's at stake, keeping you anchored when temptations try to pull you off course. So today, define your destination, sharpen your vision, then discipline your steps to follow that path, day after day. Because the clearer your aim, the straighter your path. And the straighter your path, the sooner you arrive at your greatness. Let's take this deeper. Discipline isn't just about what you do. It's about how you adapt when everything around you changes. Because life will shift. Circumstances evolve. The world refuses to stay still. And those who thrive aren't the strongest or the smartest. They're the most adaptable. But adaptability itself is a discipline. Think of Sheryl Sandberg. Faced with profound personal loss, professional challenges, and shifting global dynamics, she didn't just endure. She evolved. She rebuilt. She refocused. She reemerged stronger. Not because life spared her hardship, but because she trained herself to adapt with grace and precision. This is the heart of disciplined adaptability, staying anchored in purpose, but flexible in your methods. It's knowing that while your goal remains constant, the route may twist and turn. It's being agile without losing direction, and that agility comes from disciplined thinking. When unexpected change strikes, the undisciplined mind reacts with fear or denial. But a disciplined mind pauses, assesses, and then pivots with intention. It asks, what has shifted? What new path can I forge? Discipline in adaptability means you're always learning, always scanning the horizon, always ready to reinvent yourself when the situation demands it. Because comfort is the enemy of progress. The moment you cling too tightly to old ways, you risk being left behind. But when you commit to disciplined growth, you stay ahead, not by chance, but by choice. That's what separates leaders from followers, innovators from imitators, trailblazers from the timid. So, how do you cultivate this? 1. Stay curious. Read voraciously. Listen actively. Question assumptions. The more you know, the more adaptable you become. 2. Embrace feedback. Let it sharpen you, not shame you. Growth lives in the lessons others see before you do. 3. Experiment constantly. Try new strategies. Test new skills. Make adaptability a habit, not a last resort. 4. Reflect regularly. Assess what's working and what's not. Reflection isn't nostalgia, it's strategy. Because here's the truth, adaptability isn't about abandoning discipline. It's about refining it, evolving your habits, updating your approach, and keeping your mind flexible without ever losing sight of your mission. The disciplined, adaptable mind doesn't fear disruption. It anticipates it, prepares for it, and turns it into an advantage. So as the world changes, and it will, stay grounded in your purpose, but ready to reinvent your approach. Discipline isn't rigidity. It's resilience in motion. Train for it. Prepare for it. And when change comes knocking, you won't just survive, you'll lead. Now we arrive at the most powerful truth of all. Discipline is not just for achievement, it's for legacy. Because the life you're building, step by disciplined step, isn't just for you. It's the blueprint, the inspiration, the guidebook for those who come after you. Every choice you make, every habit you enforce, every action you repeat, they're all laying the groundwork for the story others will tell about you. Think of Jane Goodall. She didn't set out to become a global icon. She followed her passion with quiet, consistent discipline, observing, documenting, advocating. Decades later, her disciplined pursuit of understanding nature transformed not only science, but the very conversation around conservation. That's legacy, not what you achieve in a single moment, but what your consistent actions create over time. And this is where discipline truly shines. It turns fleeting ambition into enduring impact. Because without discipline, even the greatest dreams fade. But with it, dreams endure beyond a lifetime. So, I ask you, how do you want to be remembered? What mark will your discipline leave on the world? This isn't just a question of personal pride. It's a call to live with intention, to shape your days with purpose so that your presence resonates far beyond your time here. Build habits that not only serve you but inspire those watching. Let your work ethic, your focus, your consistency become a silent mentor to others. Because the greatest gift you can offer isn't just success, it's example. When others see you rise before dawn, push through resistance, stay committed despite setbacks, you grant them permission to believe in their own power too. Your discipline becomes a lighthouse, a signal to those lost in doubt that it's possible to navigate through. And when your days are done, your legacy won't just be in what you built, but in who you lifted, who you inspired, and who you awakened. So discipline yourself, not just for today's rewards, but for tomorrow's echoes. Live in such a way that your footsteps leave a path others can follow. Because greatness is not a moment. It's a lifetime of disciplined choices, compounded until they shape the world. Let your discipline speak. Let it teach. Let it transform. And remember, the story of your life is written by what you do consistently, not occasionally. Discipline is your master key. Use it and unlock everything.